a level of internal regulation at the table. So every from internal audit, internal control, clinical governance, and all the way out to what we call voluntary accreditation. And which is where you would have the dealers and the OEMs play a very critical role in the healthcare value chain. But we've seen that one of the biggest challenges that they have is actually that heavy dependence on importation. I mean, for obvious reasons. Um, what exactly, I mean, do you think that players in this industry or in the value chain should be doing to align with what is going on right now?
Thank you very much, Jane, for that question. I think anybody that is a representative of an original equipment manufacturer, what we call an OEM, has a responsibility first of keeping to the principles of the OEM. But when you come into our jurisdiction, Nigeria, we need to have a very long-term approach to things. So you can't come into the Nigerian market thinking short-term. You have to have a long-term approach. You have to have a collaborative partnership approach to the market. You would need to definitely start with some kind of needs assessment. Look at where the things, what kind of equipment do you require? A lot of people come in with preconceived notions, 220 million people, and they start to do the extrapolations for you and say that means you should be able to sell 100 CTs a year. You should do 1,000 cardiac operations every month. I mean, they give you all kinds of, numbers that have absolutely no bearing with reality. So you need to do a needs assessment, not by just getting a consultant to do it, but actually rolling up your sleeves and speaking to people. Go to the various hospitals, speak to the medical directors. Go beyond the medical director, go to the director of procurement, go to the head of nursing. 70, 80% of the time in a hospital is spent with nurses, not doctors. So go to the nurses, find out what the real needs are, and then you can really find a solution. So you have to come in with a solutions approach to things. As I said, long term. One of the challenges we had, as I highlighted in my earlier talk, was the fact that we do not have today's level of biomedical engineers. So you need to make an investment in capacity building, starting with yourselves and then going to the market itself and helping the market. With the JACPA, a lot of our clients, for example, machines 2 years ago, they're no longer there. And therefore, you have to have a concerted effort to work as a partner with the industry. If you come in as a salesperson and take everything as a transaction, it's not going to work. So you must have a long-term approach, and you must also find a solution. So what are the pain points of our clients? And I would tell you the first one would be access to finance. So what do our clients require, and how do we help to make that access to finance or funding very more affordable, more available, more long-term? How do we disrupt the normal way of providing statutory standard collateral and think about maybe new models like leasing? Or even if it's leasing, at what cost? How can we do some kind of mezzanine financing and bring in things? But so you have a responsibility too of engaging banks, of engaging the government, either through the Healthcare Federation or yourselves, and creating this enabling environment for us to thrive. So there's quite a lot that needs to be done. We need to understand that government is not going to continue to buy without some form of backwardation. So I think everybody, and I can see a lot of my colleagues in the OEM space, is that all of us at some point need to start thinking of backward integration into some kind of production in Nigeria. So just the push that is going on in the pharmaceutical industry, we as OEM reps need to push our OEMs to start some production, even if it's only CKD, and complete lockdown and assembly, and then get the government to provide some kind of guarantees if that is possible. Then finally think about public-private partnerships and private-private partnerships. You cannot, I tell people all the time, You see, when you have lawyers, the lawyers don't have customers, they have clients. You have to see everybody that we interact with as a client. You must build trust with them. And that's the way to go. And for us as JNC International, it has been from day one. We didn't see ourselves as sellers, we see ourselves as solution providers. We see ourselves as an ecosystem builder and providing solutions to the market. It's our responsibility not only to increase diagnostic capability, but to also work with our various partners to have interventions in country. Medical tourism is, a, for us, a sign of failure on our part. So if we continue to export our patients and our patients don't have trust in our system, we have also failed. So the collective success is our success. The failure is also a collective failure. So we have a responsibility to represent the right kind of companies that think about Nigeria in the long term, are ready to invest in the space. And if they're not, we pivot them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I couldn't agree more. Another player in the value chain that is heavily dependent on importation, and specifically on the APIs, the active pharma ingredients, the pharmaceutical, pharma manufacturing players. And Mr. Gui, I'm right. What exactly do you think pharma players, not just depending on what is coming in, but in terms of how do they keep to the measures that the federal government has already taken to encourage local production?
Um, Thank you, James. The measures I think are largely driven by the regulatory body that actually encourage local production. And that backward integration is something I think what the pharmaceutical companies do is they've raised their game. So, uh, those standards. I think the challenge for the local manufacturer is the right kind of financing. Claire mentioned patience, right? In our environment, do not get the right kind of financing that allows you to produce affordable drugs. The end patient, yeah, we don't use customer, they would not be able to afford it. So let me affordable. I think what we need to do is go back to looking for creative ways to enable the manufacturers to produce affordable drugs. But I think in terms of capacity, ability, preparation, the industry is prepared.
Thank you very much. I mean, statistically, the pharma market is only less than 40% of the country's pharmaceutical use. I mean, that's to tell you the kind of opportunities we have, largely on par. And this is where we also need to focus, a bit more. In the pharma manufacturing, um, aspect of healthcare value chain, you also have preventative. So you've got the curative part of it, and you've got your preventive aspect of the business. And I'm heading to Mary. Coding has done a lot in terms of production of test strips, devices, medical devices that would help in disease management. Today, one of the biggest challenges globally is the global disease burden. Africa is getting about 25% share of that. Of course, Nigeria is a significant part of the continent. So I just want to find out what exactly, how are we positioning ourselves to manage this going forward to sort of partner with international organizations so that when another COVID hits, I'm not saying if, will come, but it depends on how prepared we are. How do we manage that then?
All right, thank you very much, Jane. Thank you to the Stanbic IBTC team for giving Codex the opportunity to share our thoughts very important topic. I also have to recognize my auntie here, Colonel Mashe. It's such a privilege to be on this panel with you. Okay, so to go to your question, I would start by saying we have started preparing for the next pandemic, but we haven't done enough. Um, so before coming here, I had like a myriad of challenges. I'd like to focus on maybe just three of them. Now, during COVID, we all know how COVID went. One of the things that stood out was how it is necessary for every nation, every sovereign nation to secure their borders, whether it be from economic challenges or health challenges. And so, Codex Family Ted was right of that conversation during. And before COVID, I would say around 2018, we already saw the um, I say, backward integrate and secure the future of the organization, but more so secure the health of our patients, and I'll explain why. Um, so today you will hear lots of conversations around localization. The likes of PEPFAR, which Mrs. Omashere clearly hinted at during her presentation, has been one of the very loud voices in localization priorities in Africa. LMICs generally, mostly in Africa. And I will throw out some information which we already have. But PEPFAR has it on good account that out of the $750 million RDT and rapid diagnostic tests imported into Africa, only 1% procured in Africa. So you can understand why during COVID, most of the foreign nations who manufacture these IBTs had to secure their nations and ensure that most of the solutions to COVID-19 at the time were kept for their people. And so in preparation for the next pandemic, it is very
but there are ways to work around that. For instance, we are able to take a financial decision in 10 minutes with two data points. We'll tell you whether we can pre-qualify and tell you as a healthcare SME whether you qualify for a loan and how much you qualify for. So I think that speed of decisioning is very important. The bureaucracy in terms of also serving these healthcare SMEs, I think also needs to be minimized. So many times there are lots of documents that are asked of that might not, might say, important. I think we need to focus on serving them with minimal bureaucracy and also convenience as well and speed of service. So ideally, I think if you can give them a fast credit decisioning within 24 hours, if you can give them an offer letter within, if you can do let's do not fix certain SMEs are viable by paying them appropriate what it is, whether in general premiums or in terms of out-of-pocket payments. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Um, this is where Lomasha's point around collaboration be the main mission. We need to collaborate more. There are on the platform, the health tech platform, one and how they work together, and then collaborate better. Last but not the least, let me borrow for last but certainly, the payers. Now, Naomi, Bastion Health is you replaced the National Health Insurance Scheme Act 1999 with the National Health Insurance Act of 2022. But we haven't seen that penetration in terms of access to healthcare insurance. As I speak, still, what I think is probably more significant. It's still about 95% do not have access to health insurance. How do we move that backwards? How do we get to those patients to sort of feel more?
Thank you, Jane, for the question. And thank you to Stanbic IBTC for this, putting this panel together. I think first off, it's important to continue to have conversations to create awareness and, of course, see how we can move it down. So, yes, we're talking about health insurance cover in Nigeria. It's very low. I know that Claire had mentioned in her slide, out of pocket payments and the fact that we can quickly, easily get into some kind of financial catastrophe because we don't have it. If I asked in the room today, even for our domestics, a lot of us have domestics here. How many of us cover our domestics for still paying out of pocket for them? So therein lies the issue. When Doc spoke, he also said somebody was coming on a stretcher to receive miracles. And I say to people, my main competition remains anointing oil, and it is not my portion. So we have those nuances around the cultural beliefs and the religiosity of it. But then again, I say it is this same God who has given man knowledge and wisdom so that truly there will be healing from the doctors, physicians, and all of that. But we don't have the awareness. I think that's one of the major issues, the lack of awareness. How do we begin to push awareness and advocacy around the fact that truly health insurance remains a major mechanism to funding, ensuring that you do have financial protection against sicknesses. There was a survey that was carried out saying 3 of 4 Nigerians in the last 5 years have had a medical emergency. Do we know what that means? It means truly there has been some catastrophe because if you had a cancer or you had something of the sort, you're not seeking that medical attention because you're thinking, oh, my pocket. The other issue, of course, is around the behavioral patterns when we're all going to the pharmacist to get drugs. So we don't see the need to be able to take up insurance. But the major issue, of course, is the challenge around, of course, the awareness. So how do we as a health insurer begin to create a narrative that speaks to the importance of insurance and the need to take it up? Yes, we can say, oh, we're financing all these, the MRIs, the CT scans, that's on the supply side. But who is taking it up on the demand side? We need to also ensure that truly there are people paying for it. Payment, we have issues of purchasing power, but we need to also, as insurers, begin to create products that fit. We make them bite-sized. We make it affordable and possible for people to be able to pay as flexibly as they want. Because right now we have most of the private sector signed up, but we don't have the informal sector as we should. And the informal sector contributes at least 65% or makes up 65% of, that market space, the SMEs, retail. So how do we drive it? Also, another challenge for us is in distribution, and that is based on the fact that there hasn't been a lot of investment, even in terms of, ensuring we have the right distribution channels. When the banks did it with capitalization, you were able to drive a lot of technology. You were able to, drive your platforms. We also need to be able to do that. Drive through technology, the service, and ensure that, of course, distribution. But then again, we can do that through collaboration. If I'm collaborating with the Stanbic today through your platforms, you have about 6 million customers, maybe about 40%, 50 don't have health insurance. How can we begin to bundle such products with your products to be able to distribute to, the masses or more people to be able to take up health insurance? But yes, we need to create the awareness first for people to understand, because even in this room, a lot of people still understand the mechanism of how health insurance works. But we all need to be able to push the agenda, like Jane has spoken to, which is the agenda around, of course, the last administration passed the National Health Insurance Act, which basically stipulates that every Nigerian, it is mandated that every Nigerian have cover. And this is, of course, in line with driving the health coverage so that every Nigerian does have health cover. It's not yet operational. Those operational modalities are being worked on, but I can tell you that in terms of the people driving this, from the government even to the private sector, there's several meetings that have been had. The operational guidelines have been reviewed, and we see some state governments already driving it. So we believe that truly we'll be able to move that down. If we can move from less than 10 million Nigerians to even 30 million, that helps even in terms of funding for the sector, for people to be able to take up and, of course, consume health insurance. So it's work in progress, is being done, but it starts from here, it starts from this room. And I think the challenge I would put here is that please, for even your domestics, get a health insurance plan so you stop paying out of pocket. But thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Well said. Well said. I could agree with you more. There's a lot to be done. I was looking at some statistics around the percentage of out-of-pocket payments, and the largest percentage is actually coming from households. So, I mean, you actually spot on. I'll go back to you, Mrs. Lawyer. You have vast experience how healthcare organizations should position themselves to be able to access healthcare financing. Um, it's a risk that a financial institution will be buying. I mean, anybody who's giving out funding or who's trying to finances is buying risk. Which I would like you to sort of elaborate, and also, some educate our audience. How should the healthcare business position themselves to be able to access healthcare financing? We know there's a ripple effect. Now we're talking about brain drain, the famous brain drain in the sector. But you see, there's a ripple effect when things are not going so well. That's when you also see he's also looking for a way out. So I would just like to ask, please help us elaborate.
Okay, thanks, Jay. Actually, the probably perhaps where Dr. Shibule left off, and I was very pleased with the announcement today, so, which was around thinking about infrastructure funding, the way banks are now thinking about it, because certainly we have to first think about what are the different buckets of funding available, and how do you match up that funding to the need of the healthcare sector. And really and truly, the healthcare sector has to be seen as infrastructure. It's part of the infrastructure of the country, almost in the same way as you think about, large power, large developments, roads and all the other infrastructure, because there's still so little, because the gap is still so wide. And therefore, we have to start to say, okay, how do we bring healthcare into that thinking so that hopefully we can see the more long-term type of funding? Um, Doc mentioned the fact that Stanbic is going from 100 billion to 350 billion. So I'm extremely excited to hear, that tap is now more open. So once we can see that that kind of funding is available, then we can start to say how do healthcare businesses prepare themselves for that kind of financing. Now, largely, infrastructure financing would need to match infrastructure growth. So it does mean bricks and mortar, it needs equipment, it needs maybe to some extent kind of shall I say pharmaceutical R&D that can be, shall I say, looked at as capital, as capitalized. So you have to make sure that we really understand our numbers in terms of what do we require, what is the cost of those bricks and mortar and so on. How can some of those costs be, shall I say, to some extent, shared? So either because we are now bringing to with us real estate developers, for instance, who are ready to do the real estate while we come in with equipment, so that it makes sure that the return is more attractive along the chain. So that's infrastructure side that we can present ourselves to the infrastructure funds. Now, what would the infrastructure funds be asking for? So we have to educate ourselves to understand, to be thought through as infrastructure. What would the infrastructure guys require? Certainly, they require, as with all banks, in this case, they require what do you call it, collateral. We can also think about credit enhancements now. So how can we find, those who can not just give us collateral, but can also enhance our credit worthiness some way, so that again we are a bit more, can access more and we are more attractive. In addition to that, of course, there's always track record. Have we done before? What sort of, as Dr. Sule showed, you have even the small, quick businesses who access loans. You want to see that they've paid back, as quickly as well, and then they can come back for more. So track record is important. What is our financial track record? What is our governance? What's our governance like? How are we set up? Do we have proper accounts, written? Is our business documented? Do we have a board of directors who are there governing? Do we have a proper management team? Even as small as your business is, all those things are so important just to show will collapse tomorrow. One that at least once that investment comes in, it can continue to boost what is being done. And then, of course, even back to that, we have to still keep thinking about what I'll call working capital, and how to separate working capital needs from the large sort of capital expenditure. So while infrastructure funds can be used to support capital equipment and so on, you have to think about working capital when it comes to the day-to-day cash flow. I mean, everybody is suffering from the FX situation, and it has become a liquidity situation now for all our businesses. It's not as much a profitability one now, it's more a liquidity one. And therefore, working capital is important to ensure that there's still enough to be able to continue to turn around and pay for whatever it is that you're paying for on a day-to-day basis. Now, of course, that also brings into the consideration, as you said, talent. In fact, in healthcare, I sometimes think that we should look at talent as part of our infrastructure, because really and truly, we are training, especially in the private sector. We are now really bearing the cost of training, because with the more the JAPA and the more we're bringing people on, we are having to invest in the gap, the training gap that is getting bigger and bigger. And I always often say, who's paying for that gap? We're making our patients pay for that gap, or are we going to find a way where we can capitalize that gap truly and make sure that it is adequately funded? Now, there is funding, yes, from lots of international partners. I've now realized that this training need is critical, both in public and in private sector, and there's a lot of support coming from there. So it's important to prepare ourselves and position ourselves. If I look at what we've done at Iwosan Lagoon, for instance, on the training side, we are now training house officers. So we're now accredited to train house officers. We're accredited to train nurse interns, pharmacy interns, and so on. So we have now, we have about, I would say, a portfolio of about 40 trainees in the different sort of healthcare areas. And it means that we have to support that, not just with funding, but also with the whole process for training and making sure that they are being well supervised. There is a lot that can be done in terms of partnering when it comes to training. And we are now already partnering with Luth, for instance, to come together to put together proper residency programs that can now be accredited and that fellowships can be given, so that way we are increasing the training pool that is available in country, and hope that that helps to stem some of the flight. But as I said, there's a cost to it. So you have to bring that into your investments and into sort of, what you position when you are looking for funding.
Thank you very much. I think she deserves a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. That question was deliberately kept at this point because it's important to understand how we can move the sector forward. We have managed to merge two questions, and our great panelists have actually answered 2 questions or 4 questions, originally meant for 2 questions. So I would just quickly go around. Final word from each of us. Final word, something to take home with. I'm standing between tea break and the people, and I can see the eyes. So please, final word. I would like to start.
Okay, so I mean, for me, as Bastion Health, I think my mandate is really to drive health insurance for all Nigerians. And no better way to do this than collaborations and partnerships. And I think with Stanbic IBTC, given the platforms you have, we can do that, a whole lot of it, even through the telcos as well. But it's really to drive health insurance. That remains the funding mechanism to ensure that truly we're all covered. Our fundamental human right, is met and in line with the SDG goals as well. So really collaborations and partnerships are critically important for us as Nigerians.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much. Mr. Mashe?
Thank you. For me, I will ask everybody to go back memory lane, this time a few years ago, and let's together not waste a crisis. We all saw the importance of healthcare. It's not just about saying health is wealth. Health is definitely what is directly responsible for our existence. So we have a collective responsibility to be an ecosystem builder. As a stakeholder in the healthcare space, we need to collaborate with each other and find the short, medium, and long-term things. For the bank, I think as we're talking about collaboration, we need to do more collaborative financing. You need to be an ecosystem builder in your own space. You need to prioritize healthcare when you go to the bankers committee and get us long-term, preferably single-digit, patient capital for our patients. And in that order. And as Fola said, it's not everything for everyone. So a small business does not need what large businesses require. But Nigeria, most of our business, 70% of our business are MSMEs. So we can get financing in the healthcare space that is developmental in nature, find all the partners internationally, do a bouquet of solutions. What do you call it now? When you blend the finance. So, and then use other methodologies like partial risk guarantees. Partner with those of us in the industry that have the track record. JNC represents 27 OEMs. For each of those OEMs, we have various solutions. The challenge is that they're dollarized. We cannot offer our clients long-term financing in dollars, especially in the last 1 year. It would be suicide. So again, we need to find solutions that we can hedge the risk. But this can only be done by the bankers committee, the government, and the likes of the Healthcare Federation coming together to find solutions that are homegrown, that are long-term in nature. But we need to be able to change that narrative together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mary?
Thank you. So she just took some things from my thoughts. So we've started this journey with Stanbic IBTC. For where we're going with regards localization of RDTs, commercial loans, especially now that those funds are beginning to shrink. When you look at the FX situation, I think that Mrs. Omashe's comments are going to be very helpful if we can look into this, bring manufacturers together, bring the healthcare sector together, and look for financing. We know that the African Development Bank, for example, has, from the feedback we received, about $30 million, which is far higher than what we as an organization need at this moment. But if you can have a collection of other players within the industry who can tap into those funds, it will go a long way for everyone. The only other thing I would just like to add is we should also look in the direction of skill development. So we are localizing. We don't have the skills that we need for this innovation in Africa at this moment. And I can say a lot with our educational institutions is very key in this. So if Stanbic IBTC can look into these two areas, I think that we'll be heading in the right direction. Thank you
very much. Dr. Sule?
As a complement to all that has been said about collaboration, I just want to highlight that only independent people or parties collaborate. So make sure you bring a product or a value proposition to the table. A bank or a partner is not going to solve your fundamental product development problems. You must figure that out on your own. And the only way to do that is by executing, iterating, and then refining your solution. And then when you've done that and you have some mastery in a niche, come to the table, you'll certainly find people who will be willing to partner with you.
Thank you very much. Well said. Mr. Goin.
All right. Well, I'll speak for pharma. Like I mentioned earlier, I think the pharmaceutical industry has really advanced. They're well prepared and they're ready. Now, just for folks that may not know this, we do have a major drug security challenge. 70% of the drugs in this country is imported. And I'm sure most of you also know that a lot of the big pharma multinationals have also exited, right? So I think it's imperative that we come up, just like Claire said, and very quickly, so with creative solutions that will help catalyze local manufacturing right now. If not, the little capacity and capability that we have will be eroded. So that will be my parting words to folks like Stanbic IBTC.
Thank you very much. And to Ms. Laoye.
Okay, I would say start with the end in mind. I chatted with Doc earlier, and I asked, how far is Stanbic willing to go in investing in the healthcare space? He gave me a number, and I won't say the number here, but it was a big number. And I was quite, excited to the idea that that sort of investment could come into the space, because we have all talked today about how catalyzing financing is. So I would just say to Stanbic that if you really put that number down, and say in how long you want to get there, how much of your balance sheet you're willing to put to the table, then we've got to start now and start, this is obviously one key way, the discussions, but we've got to take it beyond discussions and figure out all the steps that we need to put in place so that it materializes. But thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to our distinguished panelists. And I also believe that you have found it very, very valuable. Thank you very much. That would be it for this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, a round of applause for our panelists as they wait for a group photograph. I'd also invite Dr. Dimola Shogunle to join them. Thank you. That was robust. It was thorough. It was insightful and very enlightening. Thank you very much for taking time to do justice to our conversation today. Now, just to inform everyone in the room that we will go on a quick tea break, not now. I would announce when that would happen, for 10 minutes. But that's not the end of today's breakfast session. We'll go on a quick 10 minutes break. We'll network, have tea, light bites, and come back into the room because we have a very important presentation that will happen. We have a specialized solution talk where we tell you about our service offerings and product offerings to address these healthcare sector challenges that we've been talking about here. And that would happen. And I think that's very important for us to listen to. So please don't go from tea break. Please come back into the room. And I'm certain that our stakeholders in the room have questions. So we'll have a time dedicated to a few questions and we'll provide answers to those questions as well. Now, in the questions, we have answers that we will provide that you can send your email, your questions to if you want to direct to any of the panelists, and we promise to provide responses to those questions. So right now, I will ask that we break for tea for just 10 minutes, please. 10 minutes, and it would happen right outside the door. We have hostesses who will lead us to where it would happen. So please let's break for just 10 minutes and return to the room. This is not goodbye, it's just a quick break, 10 minutes, and we'll return to the room. Enjoy your tea break. I will see you at exactly 11:44. That's an additional 1 minute to allow you return to the room. At 11:44, please let's return to the room to wrap up this conversation and, of course, take questions and we will provide answers to them. And when we are not able to, we will send you an email where you can send your questions to, especially if you'd like to send to specific panelists. But thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Please enjoy tea break. If you need help locating the tea break area, you can speak to any of our hostesses who are right by the door. We will see you in now 9 minutes, 30 seconds. Please enjoy your tea break. Let's return to the room in less than 10 minutes now.
Women are blooming with ideas, thriving in life and business. At Stanbic IBTC, we are cheer on. Blue Blossom is women who want to save, invest, and grow in life. Go Bloom with Stanbic IBTC. Stanbic IBTC.
IK, for 5 good years you have been in this shop. If it is to update your WhatsApp now, you will know how to do that one very well.
Okay, I beg, no verse. Your money now 780,325 naira.
You no get person wey sabi everything for business. Market na teacher, trader na student, hand wey sabi na hand wey learn well.
You can pay to my accountant with a Stanbic IBTC POS. It go one time.
Business no be wetin one person fit do alone because market na community. E dey work well when we join hand with people wey sabi business well well.
You outdid yourself. This dress is given.
Because now who get better hand of support so get better business. Everything for business na kparakpo. If correct business like Stanbic IBTC SME Collab Hand join your own with loans where you go get free business training and support. E sure say you go do big things. For Stanbic IBTC, we dey join hand with business people take grow their business. Go for growth with Stanbic IBTC. For enterprise direct at stanbicibtc.com or call 0700-333-3333.
There is nothing like one-man business. One creates an ecosystem of products and services. Another supports. One plants. Others harvest. One ships it, and another collects it. One seeks prescribes solutions. One man produces, another consumes. There is nothing like a one-man business. Business is finding the right partner that goes all the way with you, with answers that lead to your business growth. Find your growth partner with Stanbic IBTC. Go for growth with Stanbic IBTC.
Honorable Duchess of the market that keeps our belly full. Her Royal Highness, the one that turns hundreds into millions. We, your children, you carried on your back. Say thank you. Mama no dey sleep, no dey tire. The ever-efficient Chief Operations Officer, Bebe the Bebe, new media marketer, turning likes into credit alerts. Sweet babe, running in 9 to 5, yet still turning up for your people. Women are blooming with ideas, thriving in life and business. At Stanbic IBTC, we are cheering you on. Blue Blossom is for women who want to save, invest, and grow in life. Go blue with Stat IBTC. Stanbic IBTC.
I care for 5 good years you have been in this shop. If it is to update your WhatsApp now, you will know how to do that one very well.
Okay, I beg no verse. Your money now 780,325 naira.
You no get person wey sabi everything for business, market, na teacher, trader, na student, hand wey sabi na hand wey learn well.
You can pay to my accountant with a Stanbic IBTC POS. It go go one time.
Business no be wetin one person fit do alone, because market na community. E dey work well when we join hand with people wey sabi business well well.
You outdid yourself. This stress is given.
Because now who get better hand of support to get better business. Everything for business na parakpo. If correct business like Stanbic IBTC SME Collab hand join your own with loans wey you go get, free business training and support, you sure say you go do big things. For Stanbic IBTC, we dey join hand with business people take grow their business. Go for growth with Stanbic IBTC for Enterprise Direct at stanbicibtc.com or call 0700-333-3333.
There is nothing like one-man business. One creates an ecosystem of products and services. Another supports. One plants. One ships it, and another collects it. One seeks answers, the other prescribes solutions. One man produces, another consumes. There is nothing like a one-man business. Business is finding the right partner that goes all the way with you, with answers that lead to your business growth. Find your partner with Stanbic IBTC. Go for IBTC.
Mama, Honorable Duchess of the market that keeps our belly full. Her Royal Highness, the one that turns hundreds into millions. We, your children, you carried on your back. Say thank you. Mama no dey sleep, no dey tire. The ever-efficient Chief Operations Officer, Bebe the Bebe, new media marketer, turning likes into credit alerts. Sweet babe, running in 9 to 5, yet still turning up for your people. Women are blooming with ideas, thriving in life and business. At Stanbic IBTC, we are cheering you on. Blue Blossom is for women who want to save, invest, and grow in life. Go blue with Stanbic IBTC. Stanbic IBTC.
I care for 5 good years you have been in this shop. If it is to update your WhatsApp now, you will know how to do that one very well.
Okay, I beg no verse. Your money now 780,325 naira.
E no get person wey sabi everything for business. Market na teacher, trader na student, hand wey sabi na hand wey learn well.
You can pay to my accountant with a Stanbic IBTC POS. It go one time.
Business no be wetin one person fit do alone, because market na community. E dey work well when we join hand with people wey sabi business well well.
You outdid yourself. This dress is given.
Because now who get better hand of support go get better business. Everything for business na parakpo. If correct business like Stanbic IBTC SME Collab hand join your own with loans where you go get business training and support, e sure say you go do big things. For Stanbic IBTC, we dey join hand with business people take grow their business. Go for growth with Stanbic IBTC for Enterprise Direct at stanbicibtc.com or call 0700 333 3333.
There is nothing like one-man business. One creates an ecosystem of products and services. Another supports. One plants. Others harvest. One ships it, and another collects it. One seeks answers, the other prescribes solutions. One man produces, another consumes. There is nothing like a one-man business. Business is finding the right partner that goes all the way with you, with answers that lead to your business growth. Find your growth partner with Stanbic IBTC. Go for growth with Stanbic IBTC.
Mama, Honorable Duchess of the Market, that keeps our belly full. Her Royal Highness, the one that turns hundreds into millions. We, your children you carried on your back, say thank you. Mama no dey sleep, no dey tire. The operations
Ladies and
officer,
gentlemen, enjoyed your tea break.
Media market.
This is a boarding all passengers to return to the room as the connecting flight is taking off.
Still turning up for your people. Women are blooming with ideas, thriving in life and business. At Stanbic IBTC, we are cheering you on. Blue Blossom is for women who want to save, invest, and grow in life. Go Bloom with Stanbic IBTC. Stanbic IBTC.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we hope you've enjoyed your tea break and you are enjoying your tea break networking. This is a boarding announcement for all passengers at the Stanbic IBTC healthcare breakfast session to please return to the room. Thank you. Please return to the room. Thank you.
Na students, hand wey sabi na hand wey learn well.
You can pay to my accountant with a Stanbic IBTC POS. It go.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we hope you've enjoyed your tea so far. You can actually come in with your cups and your plates. We have a few more items on the agenda before we wrap this up. Thank you for joining us. Please make your way back to the room. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you're networking and enjoying your tea, but please feel free to come into the room with your cups and your plates as we officially get to the concluding part of this event. Thank you for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a room. There's a tape to hold your and your mugs. So please feel free to come into the room with them. Thank you for joining us. We have a few more minutes and then we can wrap this all up. Ladies and gentlemen,
Honorable Duchess of the market that keeps our belly full, Her Royal Highness, the one that turns hundreds into millions. We, your children, you carry on your back. Say thank you. Mama, no they sleep, no they tire. The ever efficient chief thriving in life and business. At Stanbic IBTC, we are cheering you on. Blue Blossom is for women who want to save, invest, and grow in life. Go Blue with Stanbic IBTC. Stanbic IBTC.
I care for 5 good years we have been in this shop. If it is to update your WhatsApp now, you will know how to do that one very well.
Okay, I beg no vex. Your money na 780,325 naira.
E no get person wey sabi everything for business. Market, na teacher, trader, na student. Hand wey sabi, na hand wey learn well.
You can pay to my accountant with a Stanbic IBTC POS. It go one time.
Business no be wetin one person fit do alone because market na community. E dey work well when we join hand with people wey sabi business well well.
You outdid yourself. This dress is given.
Because na who get better hand of support so get better business. Everything for business na parakpo. If correct business like Stanbic IBTC SME Collab Hand join your own with loans where you go get free business training and support. E sure say you go do big things. For Stanbic IBTC, we dey join hand with business people take grow their business. Go for growth with Stanbic IBTC for Enterprise Direct at stanbicibtc.com or call 0700-333-3333.
There is nothing like one-man business. One creates an ecosystem of products and services. Another supports. Others harvest.
Ladies and gentlemen, please let's return into the room. We have a few more items on the agenda before we wrap this up. We hope you've enjoyed your breakfast tea break. But please feel free to return to the room with your glasses and your saucers. We have a very large table to accommodate your cups.
All the way with you with answers that lead to your business growth. Find your growth partner with Stanbic IBTC. Go for growth with Stanbic IBTC.
Mama, Honorable Duchess of the market that keeps our belly full, Her Royal Highness, the one that turns hundreds into millions. We, your children, you carried on your back. Say thank you. Mama, no they sleep, no they tire. The ever efficient Chief Operations Officer, Bebe di Bebe, new media marketer. turning likes into credit alerts. Sweet babe, running a 9 to 5, yet still turning up for your people. Women are blooming with ideas, thriving in life and business. At Stanbic IBTC, we are cheering you on. Blue Blossom is for women who want to save, invest, and grow in life. Go Bloom with Stanbic.
All right, thank you. Welcome back from tea break, ladies and gentlemen. Please let's return to our seats as we now continue with the healthcare breakfast session brought to you by Stanbic IBTC Bank. Thank you for joining us this morning and now almost afternoon. We do have a few more things to touch on before we wrap up. If you don't have access to the agenda and you'd like to have a copy, you can scan the QR code on your table. Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please let us take our seats as we continue with this healthcare breakfast session. Thank you. And if you're still outside by the tea area and you can hear me, this is a call asking us to please return to our seats, take our seats as we continue with this event. Thank you, technical. We had spoken a lot about how Stanbic IBTC has played a very vital role in supporting the healthcare sector. We do have results to show for it. And we have someone who will join us very shortly, virtually, to speak to us about his experience. So this is a customer testimonial, and this will be delivered by the CEO of Cedar Crest Hospitals Limited, Dr. Felix Ogedegbe. Technical, can you please? Oh, great, he's already on screen. Hello, Dr. Felix. Let's give him a round of applause. Dr. Felix Ogedegbe will be sharing his experience relating with Stanbic IBTC because we have said and re-emphasized and reiterated over the course of this event that Stanbic IBTC is very particular about the healthcare sector, and we have collaborated, we have sponsored, we have partnered with, we have funded several initiatives in that regard. We'll be listening to the CEO of Cedar Crest Hospitals Limited, Dr. Felix Ogedegbe. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us virtually. We're truly happy to have you. I will hand over to you now as we listen to you. If we can please take our seats very quietly and listen to Dr. Felix, that would be nice. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Hold on, Dr. Felix. We just want to make the audio a little louder so everyone in the room can hear this beautiful testimonial you have to share. Let's try it again, sir. Hello, Dr. Felix.
Hi, good morning. I hope you can hear.
Good morning. Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Please go ahead, sir.
All right. Thank you very much for inviting me. Very many thanks, Jane and her wonderful team for organizing this and for having me to be able to join. I have been listening intently. Testimony, or we are a testimony in Cedar. The Stanbic IBTC have made in healthcare. And I think going ahead to host this breakfast session does show that Stanbic is ready to launch fully into the healthcare space, quite in line with a lot of the areas and discussions that we had this morning. Will your IT team be sharing my slides? Or I just talk through them?
Yes, Dr. Felix will share your slides and you can still talk through them.
Thank you. Okay, so would you just let me know when the slideshow has started?
Not a problem.
Right. Thank you very much. So next slide, please. Yeah, so our engagement with Stanbic had happened some years ago, but I think in the post-COVID era, we got in touch with Stanbic again sometime last year. Cedar Crest has been in Lagos for a while, but we had thought of having a full-fledged hospital on the island. And shortly after the COVID-19 broke, we all know that the federal government of Nigeria, through the Central Bank of Nigeria, did ask for those who were interested in healthcare investments to say so, and we were one of those who got some funding from the Central Bank of Nigeria through Fidelity Bank PLC. And so we started this project, a 55-bed specialist hospital, mainly going to be focusing on orthopedic surgery and related specialties, hoping to be able to bring world-class care to the Lagos area and also provide an avenue to get inbound medical tourism into the country and into Lagos. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah, so again, our emphasis in Lagos is really to do orthopedics and everything that makes it work. We believe that this should be a good addition to the Lagos healthcare space. Next slide, please. So this was how we went, using the CBN Fidelity funding. We broke grounds in August 2022, and by March 2023, of course, we know that the issues with funding and depreciation and the inflation didn't start today. They had begun to take a toll. So the budget had actually gone beyond what we thought of initially, and we had spoken to a couple of banks at that point, and
recording in progress.
Luckily, we got introduced to to Stanbic, and we were quite amazed and delighted by the reception that Stanbic gave us, and Stanbic stepped into the project at this point. So by March of 2023, which is less than a year ago, not a lot of progress. It's a lot of progress has been made, but we're at the point where we needed some intervention and funding to be able to proceed. Next slide, please. So the intervention from Stanbic came up and by November, barely 6 months later, we're already getting to the completion phases of this contract because of the intervention that Stanbic PLC made in our project. And by January 2024, like you can see, the fact that we had funding in there, and the fact that we already had some presence in the city made it very, very fast for us to be able to scale up to the point where we are now. If you go to the next slide, you would see that the building is virtually completed. We are beginning to fit equipment into the building. We are at the point where we're going to be starting full services in this location in a very short time. So I would say that yes, these are just the front views of the building, and the earlier ones were the pictures from the inside. So I would say that we've actually found Stanbic IBTC very good partners. They've been wonderful banking partners. Of course, we've dealt with other banks before, but I think the fact that they brought the intervention they did at the point when they did in a quest to bring this project to fruition, they've actually worked with us thereafter, looking at various aspects of our business. I'm quite glad now that we are, doing this breakfast meeting. I believe that from all that has been said, that Stanbic wants to take a deep dive into the healthcare space in a very big way, and then begin to do more in the healthcare space. I'm just ending up with this slide, putting up the range of services we do. Abuja is a multi-specialty hospital. That may not be a very clear slide, but we do offer a range of services in all aspects of medicine. And we say that we treat local patients from. We've also begun to see foreign patients, both from West Africa and beyond, coming into Nigeria for care. And we hope that once the right investments are made and the right conversations about health insurance, about people being able to pay on the demand side, I'm sure that the healthcare industry will at some point begin to rival the financial industry. and we'll all be better for it. I will stop at this point. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please let's give a round of applause to Dr. Felix Ogedegbe. Thank you, sir, for taking time to share this beautiful testimonial with us. It's very encouraging, and we are truly delighted at what Stanbic IBTC Bank is doing in the health sector, especially positioning as a trusted growth partner in this regard. So thank you very much again, Stanbic IBTC Bank, for putting this together. We will move on very quickly without much further ado, and we will have a specialized solution talk. Then we will take questions and answers after this presentation has been done. So at Stanbic IBTC Bank, we do have bespoke solutions tailored to the unique needs of the healthcare sector and, of course, the entire value chain. So this presentation will speak to that. And to do the honors, it gives me great pleasure to make welcome again Jane Ike Okoli, the head specialized sectors at Stanbic IBTC Bank, for this presentation. After that, we'll take questions and answers from our stakeholders in the room, and then we will take the closing remarks. Thank you for coming, ladies and gentlemen. I'll hand over to Jane Ike Okoli, who will steer this conversation and help with the presentation. Over to you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you even more for your patience.
Recording stopped.
I would start with calling one of our very special product houses, Tai Tai Jemitola. Please, can you come up stage? Tai Tai works in our global market unit, an expert in coming up with different FX solutions, and one of our very strong areas, in Stanbic IBTC. Tai Tai. And just after Tai Tai, I would like to call on Emmy Agaba Oloja. Emmy works in the Stanbic IBTC trustees arm of the group, and Emmy is the executive director in the subsidiary. Thank you, Emmy. Please give them a round of applause. Thank you. And Ifoma Abdul is a Ifoma Abdul is a specialist in the trade finance solutions. She would also be speaking to our trade finance solutions available and how they can help support the healthcare businesses. And last but certainly, we would have Tina Mbagu. Tina comes from our Stanbic IBTC Asset Management. She would be speaking to the different investments that the healthcare businesses can also leverage in, moving their businesses forward. Can we have chairs, please? Thank you very much. All right, thank you. Tai Tai, do you have a mic? Just checking. All right. All right, so just to get right into it, Tai Tai, what has been established today is one of the biggest challenges in healthcare sector, which is healthcare financing. And I'm sure in the course of the discussions, you must have heard that, the key players in the healthcare sector, healthcare value chain, are heavily dependent on importation. Now, given the current situation in the country, can you please just share your thoughts on how the businesses can position themselves, to manage the situation as well as move their businesses forward? Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. So when we're talking about trying to position yourselves in terms of importation, sometimes there are issues with regards to interest rates, because the first thing you need to look at is what is the issue I have in terms of importation. Is it an interest rate issue that I have in terms of the loan that I have taken, or is it an exchange rate problem with regards to maybe a foreign currency loan? And with regards to that foreign currency loan, are you looking to mitigate the exchange risk that you have or the liquidity risk. So you can look at it in 2 or 3 folds: interest rate issue, exchange issue, or a combination of both. So in terms of interest rate issues, we've seen inflation getting elevated. Inflation is currently at around 29.9, and the MPR rate, which is the monetary policy rate, that's the rate at which the central bank would lend funds to banks, and banks would use that rate as a benchmark to also lend to their customers. So they will lend at a monetary policy rate, which is currently at 18.75%, plus or minus a spread. With that monetary policy rate, we've seen that the rates, because central bank also uses that rate to control inflation in terms of how do they need to
Apologies,
moderate
Titan.
inflation.
We might need to moderate a bit,
Okay,
project a bit so we can
so
hear
in terms
you.
of how do they need to moderate inflation rates. So and next week there is an MPC meeting, which is Monetary Policy Committee meeting, and it's expected that the rates are going to get elevated again by maybe about 2 to 3%, which means MPC rate is going up to 20, maybe about 20.75% to 21%. And with that, it means that importers are going to be borrowing at a higher rate. So the reason why I'm saying this is that, are you looking to cut your interest rate cost if you are a borrower? If interest rates are as high as, let's say you're borrowing at 23% now, it means that you should be looking at mitigating that cost. You should be looking at trying to cut the cost on your interest rates, which means this is the best time to do it if your view is that interest rate will continue to get elevated. In terms of exchange, and there are products around interest rates that you can use to solve for that issue. Then in terms of exchange rate, we've seen where exchange rate is right now. Exchange rate has gone up by over, I think, 300% from between last year and this year. Currently, we see it at around 1.7. Yeah, at the end of January, it was at 1,300. It was around 1,300, but today, as we speak, is around 1,007. If you borrow, if you borrow, if you borrow in foreign currency, and at the end of the day, you need to convert that foreign currency to pay your lenders, you should definitely be looking at hedging that exchange risk or liquidity risk. And there are products around how you would hedge that exchange risk or the liquidity risk. There are different products to mitigate against such exposures. So that is why we're here speaking to you. So some of those, some of the products that you should be looking at with respect to hedging exchange risk are products that would help you save some of the flows that you need to, would help you, that is cost saving on exchange. So there is a product called a non-deliverable forward, which you can use to mitigate that exchange, or you can do a cross-currency swap, which means that if you're looking to maintain to maintain your liquidity in terms of having to pay back in the future, and you don't want to exchange, so that you just have that particular foreign currency to pay back, you can go into a cross-currency swap. There are also other products that you can look at. That is in terms of trying to manage your cash flow management, which gives you certainty of how much you're going to spend now or in the future. So those are the types of products we look at. I don't want to take so much time because how many minutes?
Thank you very much, Tai. Well said. This session is really important, and I'm very sure you're noting down your questions. The Q&A session is coming right after now. So please keep listening and keep noting down your questions. I would like to go to Ifoma Abdul. So Ifoma, importation has really surfaced a lot, especially on the producer angle of the value chain. So it's also a challenge, but I would like you to just share the trade finance solutions, that are available, to help mitigate the risk of even, cross-border payments, as well as accessing healthcare financing, which is also the big elephant in the room that we've been addressing all morning. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jane. Good morning, everyone. Okay, for trade finance, we will be speaking about the the trade finance opportunities that are available, that help facilitate your cross-border payments, your imports or export for clients that are in the export space. There are quite a number of them. You can go with your letter of credit or bills for collection or telegraphic transfer, and a whole other products that help mitigate the risk of importation across other countries. For example, if you decide to implore the use of your letter of credit, it's one of the most secure methods of payment actually, and it helps mitigate against the risk of maybe your supplier not delivering, or the supplier having fears that once he sends his goods, he doesn't get paid. So the bank steps in and provides that guarantee that both the importer and the exporter will require, for their products. So there's several other products that come in that way that actually help secure your cross-border payments and provide that security that you require. Speaking to the other solutions that are available in terms of financing for your international trade business, we have the LC confirmation line. That's actually an FX-backed transaction. And for now, well, because of the FX situation that everyone is aware of, and I'm sure my colleague has also spoken on some FX solutions that can help mitigate the risk. We kind of limit it to clients that have FX receivables or have some form of FX backing, to avoid the fluctuations and to mitigate against the FX risk. And then we have our Naira import finance facility that we also offer to our clients. In that case, you can get Naira and then go ahead to buy your FX either from the bank, or if you have the FX, then you use the Naira to buy FX and cover your import. All right, then we have other short-term loans that you can use for your duty payments, for your clearing, and for those that are into importation of machineries, those that are expanding, we have other facilities available, for importation of your medical equipment, for your machineries, for vehicle and asset finance, for term loans that you can use for your expansions. So that being said, there are quite a couple of offerings that the bank has. But what we do is we try to sit with you and analyze the business and see what best suits your business, so that you don't take on more than
for you. One of the things that we leverage on in Stanbic IBTC is our structure. And our structure and what we know, what we have been known for, which is an end-to-end financial services provider. And one of the subsidiaries, which is leading the market, is our Stanbic IBTC Asset Management. Tina, you would please
Now, what happens most times is that people take the only collateral that they seem to have and go to a bank, and that collateral is more or less tied to that particular bank, and they get some resources from the bank, even though the collateral is more sufficient to cover certain costs or certain more loans that they can take. But with a security trustee function, what happens is that Stanbic IBTC trustees will act as security trustees. We can either do a mortgage debenture where you have real estate as your collateral, or we can do an all-asset debenture where you have other items in your facility to serve as the collateral. So what happens is the trustees hold that asset. They hold the collateral, where security trustees will hold it. And whatever facility you have from any bank, if there is a need for you to secure additional funding from another bank, you don't need to go and start worrying about anything. The other bank can then access that same facility and give a portion. So instead of just tying down your assets to one bank, which is what most people do, they just give everything to one institution, and then they are stuck because the institution may not even want to expand the facility they are giving you. But with the security trustee arrangement, we're able to assist you, and you can have additional lenders come on board with that facility. Now, for you as an individual, succession planning is also key, and it's important that you consider that. What measures are you putting in place to ensure that there is a continuity of your business? What happens to you if anything happens? What processes have you put? Some people will say, you know what, I'm the brain behind this business. If anything happens to me, ensure that there is a venture capitalist, the company is sold or whatever. But it's important that you begin to think about succession planning in your spaces. For yourself as well, it's important that you also protect your individual
floor for questions. I know you have a lot of questions on your mind, but because we want to respect your time, we appreciate the fact that you first of all defied the rain and you've been here all morning. We will take just a few questions. If you have any question, please feel free to raise your hand. We could also pick up questions from our online platform as well. But here is the time. Thank you. I see a hand at the back.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Jenny, and I am the CEO and founder of Clafia. We are a digital healthcare platform based in Nigeria. And I just wanted to know more about partnerships that Stanbic Bank is open to doing with tech entrepreneurs in the digital healthcare space, and who do we need to approach and to foster those relationships and partnerships? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I am very glad to answer that question. First of all, you're looking at the person who is talking. I'll be the person that you would be talking to. Are we ready? Yes, that's the answer. We are already partnering with health techs that understand the healthcare business even more than we do. We believe in the power of collaboration. We believe in the strength that the health techs bring to the table. We leverage those strengths. So the answer is a big yes. So please, we'll see after the thank you so much. Yeah. Do we have any other question? There's a gentleman on the other side. There's a hand on the other side.
Good afternoon. My name is Prince Degun Agbuade. I'm the MD of Ofema Pharmaceutical Industries Limited. We are manufacturers of medicine. Let me first of all thank IBTC for the invitation. We didn't apply to open a bank account with IBTC because we have other banks. So we got a call that we can just come up and then somebody will visit us, and that was how it started just few months back. Okay, so that's number one. The second point is, as you may be aware, in manufacturing of pharmaceuticals, any manufacturing in Nigeria today, 99.9% of what we use, inputs, are imported. And in the current circumstance, I want to ask if there is any window or arrangement that you make with your customers, that is, we users of foreign exchange, to soften that area. Even we have other banks that we operate with. Getting foreign exchange is still a problem. And if all that, even if the only thing, the only 2% that we don't import is water. And we need chemicals to treat the water. The chemicals will be imported. So virtually everything is imported. So I just want to ask if you have anything like a program or a window just to say, okay, you give me Naira loan. I want foreign exchange. I don't even want to touch the Naira. What I want is to open an SC, tell you what I want and all that. Is there anything like that? Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for that question. I would throw that question to Tai Tai. She's already picking up her mic. Yes, please. All right. Do you want to ask your question so we can take it up? Yes, please. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you very much. My name is Felix Abeguni. I'm the CFO of Ofema Pharmaceutical. The question I just want to ask is to Tai Tai, right? When you were discussing about interest rates, you said that a business should strive to, as much as possible, to cut down their interest expenses, something like that. I want you to expand on that. How we be able to reduce our interest expenses? I think you got the question right. Thank you very much.
I get it. Okay, so, okay, can you hear me now? Okay, so with regards to the exchange, you wanted to know if there is a window where FX would be sold to clients. Okay, right now there is a glitch in liquidity, that is FX. What the CBN has done is to bring out some reforms. So they're working on reforms, and they've actually sent out some reforms into the market to standardize the market. So with regards to the reform, some of the reforms that they did was reform on net open positions of banks. Net open positions of banks is the amount of FX liquidity a bank can hold at any point in time. So they have standardized that to say, and it's usually a function of your shareholders' funds. So right now, what they've done is that no bank can hold any position, a positive position in terms of FX. So if you have FX, you must sell everything to 0 or to 20% negative of your shareholders' funds. This means that if your shareholders' funds is, let's assume, $10 million, which means that you can sell what you don't have up to 20%. That means that you can go down. I can sell to you up to $2 million negative. But I have to find a way to cover that position whenever I find FX. The reforms they've also taken up is with regards to interest rates. So if you look at the interest rates, you see that the yields on securities, that is on investments, has gone up. That's treasury bills. They're trying to attract both foreign direct investments as well as foreign portfolio investments. But you know how foreign portfolio investors are. They want high yields and they want high returns on the foreign exchange. So we've seen the foreign exchange go yo-yo. It's been going up, and yesterday we saw it come down slightly on the platforms. But another sector that we've seen that has huge liquidity in the system is international money transfer operators. That's the IMTOs, the likes of what you call Western Union or MoneyGram. They bring in huge inflows into the system. That's diaspora funds, and they sell to banks. But because of there was a peg was taken out, and they that IMTOs, that's international money transfer operators, cannot sell or buy at 2.5% of where the where the Nigerian foreign exchange rate is. That is NAFEX. There's a benchmark we use, which is NAFEX. So that NAFEX was at a low rate. It used to be as low as 900, while the parallel market and banks were trying to sell at above 1,000. So definitely the IMTOs won't sell to you. So you had a lot of IMTOs, smaller IMTOs, and smaller brokers selling from desk abroad. They had opened a lot of desks everywhere and were selling at very high rates. So this is one of the things that the central bank is trying to curtail so that foreign exchange comes into the system. With regards to securities that I mentioned, that the interest rates has gone up, the securities that have come in, what they're trying to do is to attract, like I just said, to attract those portfolio investors. When the portfolio investors come in to invest in your securities, which is now as high as 19% on the 19% discount, which is about 23% yield. When they come in to invest in those securities, they bring in dollars, and the amount of dollars they bring in is a lot, is huge. So they'll convert these dollars to naira. That is the dollars that were meant to sell to customers who have eligible transactions like yourselves. So once that has been settled, the reform is going on, and I know that that reform is going to help the market. So once that is done, then we start seeing the changes. We're beginning to see some small changes, just like I said. If you look at the platforms as at Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you see that it got to as high as 1,900. But between yesterday and today, we're now beginning to see between 1.6 and 1.7. So it may take time because they have to curb all the nuances in the market, in the system. They have to curb all those nuances, but it's going to happen. So definitely we will start seeing liquidity. We're hopeful that something is going to happen very soon. Then with regards to interest rates, you mentioned interest rates. So it could be either local currency or foreign currency. You may have issues in terms, you may have taken a foreign currency loan. But you know right now, if your receivables, that is your earnings, your revenue, is not in foreign currency, you can't take a foreign currency loan. So you have to, it depends on what your receivables are. If your receivables are mainly local currency, then you have to take a local currency loan. If you have receivables in foreign currency, then you can take a foreign currency loan. So if you're trying to hedge that cost, let me give you an example. If you have a foreign currency loan that you have taken, assuming you've borrowed at SOFR plus SOFR plus a spread, it's usually plus a spread. Let's assume your all-in comes to, let's say, 10%, and you're trying to hedge that cost. Currently, as at last year, we saw the interest rates, the Fed rates going up. It's beginning to go down. So this wouldn't be the best time. I think you should wait because we're expecting to see about 3 to 4 rate cuts. So once that goes down, then you can get into that particular event. That is to say, okay, I want to hedge my cost. Those who hedged their cost about 2-3 years ago are currently in the money because at the time they hedged, rates were less than 5%. That is, then it was LIBOR. LIBOR was as low as 3%, between 1% and 3%. We have a lot of customers that hedged at 0.4065%. So they are earning, so what happened there was that The rate was at 0.4065. We hedged at 0.4065. Interest rates right now is higher than 6%. So they are getting the difference on 6% minus 0.4065% quarterly. So that is what they are banking. So they keep on banking that. So, but as the interest rates goes lower, the amount, the spread that they are banking would reduce. It's the same thing as Naira. If you hedged when Naira rates were as low as 12%, as at last year, we were talking between 10, 12%, 13% maximum. If you hedged as at that time, now interest rates are as high as 18%, 19%. I'm sure in some banks it's much higher, maybe 25%. If you had hedged at 12%, though the bank would take a spread, let's say 1%, if you had hedged at 12%, today I'll be paying you 19 minus 12% quarterly. You understand? So which means you're saving 7% on your borrowing, because your borrowing will definitely be pegged to either monetary policy rate or the bank's rate. So that's what you would have been enjoying. So those are the things that we say you should look at so that you can have certainty of your cash flow. You know what you're starting out with from the onset, and you know what you're ending with at maturity. It could be 2, 3 years, 4 years, or 5-year loan, especially for equipment manufacturers, as those who buy equipment. It may be a 5-year loan they take. So for that 5-year term, they can hedge that foreign currency loan or the local currency loan.
Thank you very much.
We have
I
something
think
from...
we have some minutes more.
No, something from someone online. So
Okay, please go ahead.
So this is from someone watching via YouTube. Hello, Stanbic IBTC. Thank you so much for this session. Please, I want to ask the speakers, is the Stanbic IBTC lending solution able to cover the expenses of cutting-edge technological tools? Also, if I may ask, is the bank open to supporting the manufacturing aspects of the healthcare industry? What loan options are available to healthcare professionals, and what is the application process?
I can answer that. So, I mean, the simple, to start with, the answer is yes. Stanbic IBTC is supporting the manufacturing sector, and of course the pharma sector, the pharma market is part of it, as well as the other tools in relation to healthcare. In terms of what is the process or how can you get, I mean, you know, responsible lending would put down some put some down rules. We would look at your business, look at, you know, what your cash flow is. We would not want to give you a facility that will eventually kill you. You know, and that's what I always say. You know, responsible lending covers, you know, objectively appraising your business, looking at your numbers, and also seeing how, you know, your business can sort of comfortably repay without any stress. So we would, you know, ask for your numbers, you know, ask for your financials, see how your business is doing, and also listen to you, because we also believe that it's not a one-size-fits-all. So for every business, for every client, we believe that there is something unique about that business. So we would need to take a deeper look into your business and what your special needs are, depending on the pain points you want that facility to address. And then we would structure. So the answer is yes, but we would need to look into each application one by one. But the big answer is yes, which I think that's what the question is looking to get. Yeah. Do we have any other question? Oh, there's a hand at the back.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Stanbic. My name is Ayo Harriman. I'm an ophthalmologist. I run an eye hospital, and I'm a second-generation ophthalmologist. Now, it's just a simple question. To what extent are you willing to assist an organization like us that has funds invested in asset management? To what extent, like, the funds used in asset management, will they be used as collateral to a loan? Or, yeah, basically.
All right.
Just a simple question.
Thank you very much, ma'am. That's Tina's question. Tina, do you want to speak to that?
Yes, the answer is yes. And it's a big yes. Because once you're able to put these funds aside, and you need to borrow, I think you can even borrow up to 80% of what you have with asset management. So it's a big yes for us, and we're willing to engage for that.
Fantastic. And then one more question. Moji, beside you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Bola Ogidon. I'm the CEO of Pirano Energy. We're a solar company that provides solar solutions primarily for businesses on long-term contracts. And my question is around information. So we have a series of 10-year cash flows coming from our customers. We allow them to pay over a 10-year period. And so we have quite long receivables, and we are always looking for financing options across our banks. And we've been banking with Stanbic for approximately 7 years. So we've been with you guys for a long time. But the issue we've always had was we didn't know what different financing options we had and how they could be relevant to our business. So what is the best way in terms of information that we can get the information around the products that Stanbic has for the various needs of our business for when it comes to the lending side from Stanbic to help continue our journey on helping businesses save money on their power?
Thank you very much. And when you were speaking, I was looking out for Richard Inegbedion and Patrick Ene. Now the reason, Patrick is there. Patrick is right behind you, Moji. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I didn't get the name again. Bola. Okay, Bola, thanks for that question. Obviously, you are in the energy sector, right? Providing renewable solutions, sustainability. So it's a focus area for us as a bank. We are willing to work with you, sit down with you, look at your receivables, and see how we can leverage the strength of the cash flow of those your receivable, and see how we can provide a solution around what you have, provide a product that will suit you and also suit your customers. So the answer is yes, we are happy to sit down with you. And I can't tell you this is exactly what we're going to do. Let's look at your books and sit down with you and find a solution that works for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Well said. So, I mean, I think after this panel discussion, please, you would have more time to engage each and every person on this panel and in the audience, and my Stanbic IBTC colleagues in the audience. One thing I would like to say, when Tai was talking, one of the things that we pride ourselves in is the compliance level that Stanbic IBTC does not take for granted. We work very closely with the Apex Bank. We support the policies. We support what the Apex Bank and the government stand for. We also, at the same time, sort of, put a balance and see how our clients can also benefit from that, give them the best advice at that time. I would stop here. Colleagues, thank you very much for your time. Please feel free to engage them after this discussion, and you'll get more. Thank you very much. I've enjoyed talking to you guys again. Thank you.
Thank you very much for taking us through this solutions product talk. We are now wrapping this all up. I will just like to announce that if you have any questions after this and you'd like to get an answer to the question, you can send an email to sectorsolutions@stanbicibtc.com. sectorsolutions@stanbicibtc.com, or you can email specialized sectorsng@stanbicibtc.com. So there are 2 email addresses you can reach out to if on your way home you remember a question you didn't ask. So Sector Solutions with an S, sectorsolutions@stanbicibtc.com, or Specialized Sectors ng@stanbicibtc.com. Thank you very much, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, for your time. I will now make welcome the head enterprise banking at Stanbic IBTC Bank, to help with the closing remarks today. Round of applause for Olajumoke Bello as she helps to close this session today. It has indeed been a great, great day.
Thank you, Mojibadi. Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and to our viewers who have joined us online virtually, and to everyone in the room. It's been an honor having you in the room with us today. For me, it's been a very, very insightful and thought-provoking session. I think hearing from the panelists, the keynote speaker, and all the knowledge they shared with us has shown that it's just really important that we take the health sector and the development that is needed in that area very seriously, that we all work together. They did talk a lot about collaboration and strategic partnership. They talked about the financial solutions that are required in the healthcare sector, and that we have to be very creative in coming up with these solutions. We need to look at digitized offerings. We need to look at how we can support backward integration also. So a lot of things were shared, and we do appreciate and recognize the efforts of all the different stakeholders, the public sector, from the public sector, the promoters, the distributors, manufacturers, processors, even the practitioners, all the different areas that we had represented today, and all the impacts that they've been making to creating and developing the healthcare sector in Nigeria. But it's very clear that we need to do a lot more. And for us at Stanbic IBTC Bank, this event is just for us to create a platform to network, to engage, and to showcase to our clients and prospective clients that we are here, we're ready to partner with you, we're ready to grow with you in your respective businesses in terms of healthcare sector development. And that's why we have put in place this inaugural session. It's not going to be the last. We will continue to do this, and we'll make sure we sustain this. But for us, it's very key that we demonstrate that we are the reliable partner for you. And where you do need us to come in, please reach out to us. Reach out to us at sectorsolutions@stanbicibtc.com. We do have members of our team on ground. The head of the specialized sector team is also here, so we can also engage after this session. But we are committed. Our CEO, Stanbic IBTC Holdings, said it. We are committed to the growth of the healthcare sector, and it's an area that we're very passionate about. So thank you so much once again for being part of this session with us, and we wish you safe return to your various locations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Olajumoke Bello. As we close, let us remember that healthcare is not a cost to be contained, but an investment to be nurtured. Thank you very much for joining us at this healthcare breakfast session organized by Stanbic IBTC Bank. We do wish you a lovely rest of the day. My name is Mojibadi Shosoya. It has been an absolute pleasure serving as your host. Thank you, and have a lovely rest of the day. Thank you.
Her Royal Highness, the one that turns hundreds into millions. We, your children you carried on your back, say thank you. Mama no dey sleep, no dey tire. The ever-efficient Chief Operations Officer, Bebe di Bebe, new media marketer, turning likes into credit alerts. Sweet babe, running a 9 to 5, yet still turning up for your people. Women are blooming with ideas, thriving in life and business. At Stanbic IBTC, we are cheering you on. Blue Blossom is for women who want to save, invest, and grow in life. Go Bloom with Stanbic IBTC. Stanbic IBTC.
IK, for 5 good years you have been in this shop. If it is to update your WhatsApp now, you will know how to do that one very well. Okay, I beg, no verse. Your money now 780,325 naira.
You no get person wey sabi everything for business. Market na teacher, trader na student, hand wey sabi na hand wey learn well.
You can pay to my accountant with a Stanbic IBTC POS. It go one time.
Business no be wetin one person fit do alone, because market na community. E dey work well when we join hand with people wey sabi business well well.
You outdid yourself. This dress is given.
Because now who get better hand of support go get better business. Everything for business na kparakpo. If correct business like Stanbic IBTC SME Collab Hand join your own with loans where you go get free business training and support, e sure say you go do big things. For Stanbic IBTC, we dey join hand with business people take grow their business. Go for growth with Stanbic IBTC. For enterprise direct at stanbicibtc.com or call 0700-333-3333.
There is nothing like one-man business. One creates an ecosystem of products and services. Another supports. One plants. Others harvest. One ships it, and another collects it. One seeks answers, the other prescribes solutions. One man produces, another consumes. There is nothing like a one-man business. Business is finding the right partner that goes all the way with you, with answers that lead to your business growth. Find your growth partner with Stanbic IBTC. Go for growth with Stanbic IBTC.
Mama, Honorable Duchess of the Market that keeps our belly full, Her Royal Highness, the one that turns hundreds into millions. We, your children you carried on your back, say thank you. Mama no dey sleep, no dey tire. The ever-efficient Chief Operations Officer, Bebe di Bebe, new media marketer, turning likes into credit alerts. Sweet babe, running a 9 to 5, yet still turning up for your people. Women are blooming with ideas, thriving in life and business. At Stanbic IBTC, we are cheering you on. Blue Blossom is for women who want to save, invest, and grow in life. Go Bloom with Stanbic IBTC. Stanbic IBTC.